Good morning, everyone. My name is Joshua Dalugdog, and I will be discussing the cell structure and function. A cell is defined as the smallest basic unit of life that is responsible for all of life's processes. Cells are the structural, functional, and biological units of all living beings. A cell can replicate itself independently. Hence, they are known as the building blocks of life. They provide structure to the body and convert the nutrients taken from the food into energy. The study of cells from its basic structure to the functions of every cell organelles is called cell biology. Robert Hooke was the first biologist who discovered cells. Cells comprise several cell organelles that perform specialized functions to carry out life processes. Every organelle has a specific structure. So let's talk about first the cell structure and the different cell organelles it has. Cell membrane. The cell membrane is the outer covering of a cell within which all other organelles, such as the cytoplasm and nucleus, are enclosed. By structure, it is a porous membrane, which means it has pores, that permits the movement of selected substances in and out of the cell. Besides this, the cell membrane also protects the cellular components from damage and leakage. Cell wall. The cell wall is the most prominent part of the plant cell's structure. It is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. The cell wall is present exclusively in plant cells. It protects the plasma membrane and other cellular components. It provides shade and support to the cells and protects them from mechanical shocks and injuries. Cytoplasm. It is a thick, clear, jelly-like substance present inside the cell membrane. The cytoplasm is responsible for holding the components of the cell and protects them from damage. It stores the molecules required for cellular processes and is also responsible for giving the cell its shapes. Most of the chemical reaction within a cell takes place in the cytoplasm. And then we have nucleus. Nucleus contains the hereditary material of the cell, which is the DNA. It sends signals to the cell to grow, mature, to divide, and to die. The nucleus is surrounded by the nuclear envelope that separates the DNA from the rest of the cell. The nucleus protects the DNA and is an integral component of a plant cell's structure. Then we have the cell organelles. Nucleus. The nucleus is the site of the ribosome synthesis. It is also involved in controlling cellular activities and cellular reproduction. Nuclear membrane. The nuclear membrane protects the nucleus by forming a boundary between the nucleus and other cell organelles. Mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. It is called so because it produces ATP, which is the cell's energy currency. Lysosomes. Lysosomes protect the cells by engulfing the foreign bodies entering the cell and helps in cell renewal. Therefore, it is known as the cell's suicide bags. Vacuoles. It is a space within a cell that is empty of cytoplasm, lined with the membrane and filled with fluid. Especially in protozoa, vacuoles are cytoplasmic organs, performing functions such as storage, ingestion, digestion, excretion, and expulsion of excess water. Ribosomes have two main functions, decoding the message and the formation of peptide bonds. These two activities reside in two large ribonucleoprotein particles of an equal size, the ribosomal subunit. Ribosomes also are the protein synthesizer of the cell. Golgi bodies are called the cell post office as it is involved in the transportation of materials within the cell. Endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is involved in the transportation of substances throughout the cell. It plays a primary role in the metabolism of carbohydrates, synthesis of lipids, steroids, and proteins. The endoplasmic reticulum can either be smooth or rough, and in general, its function is to produce protein for the rest of the cell to function. Smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth ER functions in many metabolic processes. It synthesizes lipids, phospholipids, as in plasma membranes, and steroids. Cells that secrete these products, such as cells of the testes, ovaries, and skin oil glands, have an excess of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. While the rough ER, studied with millions of membrane-bound ribosomes, is involved with the production, folding, quality control, and dispatch of some proteins. Chloroplast. Chloroplasts are organelles that conduct photosynthesis, where the photosynthetic pigment chlorophyll captures the energy from sunlight, converts it, and stores it in the energy storage molecules ATP and NADPH, while freeing oxygen from water in plants and algal cells. Chromosomes. Chromosomes play a crucial role in determining the sex of an individual. Each human cells contain 23 pairs of chromosomes. And then we have the functions of the cell. A cell performs these major functions essential for the growth and development of an organism. Number one, we have it provides supports and structure to an organism. In the process of all organisms are made up of cells. They form the structural basis of all the organism. The cell wall and the cell membrane are the main components that function to provide support and structure to the organism. For examples, we have the skin. It's made up of a large number of cells. Xylem, present in the vascular plant, is made of cells that provide structural support to the plant. Number two, facilitate growth mitosis. In the process of mitosis, the parent cells divides into the daughter cells. Thus, the cell multiply and facilitate the growth in an organism. Number three, it allows transport of substances. Various nutrients are imported by the cells to carry out various chemical processes going on inside the cell. The waste produced by the chemical processes is eliminated from the cell by active and passive transport. Small molecules such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and ethanol diffuse across the cell membrane along the concentration gradient. This is known as the passive transport. The larger molecules diffuse across the cell membrane through active transport, where the cells requires a lot of energy to transport the substances. Number four, we have the energy production. Cells require energy to carry out various chemical processes. This energy is produced by the cell through a process called photosynthesis in plants and respiration in animals. And the last one, aids in reproduction. A cell aids in reproduction through the processes called mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is termed as the asexual reproduction where the parent cells divide to form daughter cells. Meiosis, on the other hand, causes the daughter cells to be genetically different from the parent cells. Thus, we can understand why cells are known as the structural and functional unit of life. This is because they are responsible for providing structure to the organism. and perform several functions necessary for carrying out life's processes. That's all for the cell structure and function. Thank you for listening.